Cool, and we are live. So welcome everyone to the Zone of Tech live stream of the Apple event, where we'll talk about all the products. You guys can ask any questions you have, and yeah, we'll be watching this together, and hopefully it's gonna be a good one because there's a lot of cool stuff to expect. There's 4 new iPhones, there's 2 new Apple Watches, and a new pair of AirPods. And we may even see some more stuff. Let me know how the audio is. Yeah, let me know how the audio is, and also let me know which products are you guys excited for the most. Yeah, the Apple event starts in 30 minutes, and I just wanted to say, because of copyright issues, we cannot actually stream the Apple event full screen. So if you look in the bottom left corner, you'll be able to see the Apple event there. So essentially, ideally, you want to watch it yourselves and then also watch this live stream. So yeah, just make sure you've got both the Apple event open and then also the live stream open. But yeah, in terms of what to expect, let me start with the iPhones. I want to give you guys a quick recap of the latest leaks because we haven't actually made a last minute leaks video. And there have been quite a few leaks over the past few days. So I just want to quickly talk about those. First of all, the iPhone is now expected to have a full metal design. So if I bring in these dummy units right here, you can probably tell that these were made out of glass. Right, so we have frosted glass on the back, and then we've got glossy glass where the camera module is. Well, according to the latest leaks, the iPhone 17 Pros would actually have a full metal build. So the camera module will be metal, the frame would be metal, essentially a unibody design made out of aluminum. And then here we would have that rumored patch, which would be glass. So that's one last minute leak change. We've also had another leak on the dynamic island that apparently will be quite a bit smaller, so we'll have to see if that happens. And I think that's it when it comes to the iPhone 17 Pro Max. I believe that's it. Trying to remember if there was anything else, but oh yeah, the brightness. So the brightness is also rumored to be increased to maybe 3000 nits from 2000, which is great. Like a lot of Android phones have actually increased their brightness higher than what the iPhone is capable of doing. Specifically the Honor Magic 7 Pro, by the way, and also the 6 Pro. Those phones are the brightest phones I've ever used, and significantly brighter than the iPhone. Yeah, I think that's about it in terms of the last minute leaks. Let me think if there was anything else. The iPhone 17 Air, I've got a dumb unit of it right here. So the iPhone 17 Air, that's rumored to have a 3200 mAh battery. So quite a bit bigger than the previously rumored 2800. So that's great news. And then the iPhone 17 Pro Max is rumored to surpass 5000. So I think the rumored capacity was like 5040. So yeah, really looking forward to that. And I think we may actually get a really nice zoom upgrade. I think, because Tim Cook posted a photo of the Apple Park, and it was actually zoomed in quite a lot. So yeah, hopefully we'll see 8x optical. That's what the latest leaks have been saying. And then if it's also 8x optical with a 48 megapixel resolution, we should see 16x lossless zoom, which would be incredible. So yeah, we are getting some really nice upgrades for the iPhones this year. I'm still undecided whether I'll be using the 17 Air as my daily driver or the 17 Pro Max. Probably the Pro Max, but I will definitely give the Air a go. So let me know in the comments if you guys have a preference, like which video do you guys want to see first? Do you want me to daily drive the 17 Air first, or daily drive the 17 Pro Max first? I'm just looking at the chat and seeing what you guys are saying. Before we start, and I'm gonna let some of your questions come in, I just want to give a shout out to ESR, which is in the background of my video. ESR is the sponsor for this live stream, and you know, if you are planning on getting a new iPhone 17, whichever model that is, you probably want to get a case. I usually go caseless, gotta be honest, but I have dropped this a few times, and it is scuffed, so you should not do what I do. I do have Apple Care, so that's my case. But I think for your case, or most of your cases, you should just use a case. And ESR has some great ones. So this one right here, let me show you. So this one right here is called the ESR Cyber Tough Case. And as you can tell, this thing is a tank. It's super sturdy, super strong, and I think, yeah, with this case, your iPhone will be able to withstand anything. And it's also got, I don't know if you can tell, but it's also got a USB-C port cover, right? So that's cool if you want to take it into water. And coolest part is that it's also got a kickstand, which extends from the camera module. So if you want to watch a movie or anything, you've got that built in. Then on top of that, ESR also have their new screen protectors for the iPhone 17 Pro. And by the way, these cases are finalized. Like, these are cases that you can buy, and yes, they do fit our dummy units perfectly. So this is the final design of the iPhone 17 Pro. Right, they've also got a screen protector, and this is actually made out of Corning Gorilla Glass. It's one of the very, very few, which means that you get the same protection as on the front of your phone. And it's actually got 10 times stronger protection than most other screen protectors. So that's another cool accessory. And then the coolest one, I would say, is this one right here, which is a 3-in-1 charger by ESR. And it's also Qi2 ready at the full 25 watt speed. So you can charge your iPhone right here, you can place your AirPods right here, and then on the back, you've also got an Apple Watch charger. So you can charge all three at the same time, which is really cool. And like I said, that's also at 25 watts. So you can check all of these out by using the links below, which you should be able to see. Yeah, so once again, thank you to ESR for sponsoring this video. Let me just put these back in the background. There you go. So having said that, let me just go over your questions. Since we were talking about the iPhone, do you guys have any questions regarding the iPhone? 17, 17 Air, 17 Pro, or 17 Pro Max? And then we'll talk about the Apple Watches and the AirPods. Oh no. Give me 1 second. Got a bunch of stuff propped up here. And I don't have the sturdiest stands. There we go. That's better. Okay. Right, so before that, I did ask you guys a question, which was which one you wanted me to cover first. And I'm getting some mixed answers. Some of you guys are saying the Pro Max. Some of you guys are saying the Air. So let me see if I can do a poll. Start a poll. There you go. Should I daily drive the iPhone 17 Air or 17 Pro Max first? iPhone 17 Air, and then iPhone 17 Pro Max. Right, so now you guys can actually vote. There you go. Which would make it easier, I guess. Right, back to the questions. So Sorin is saying, are we going to get eSIM in the entire EU? I don't think so. I think some countries, probably France, and some others will have eSIM only, but some countries won't. So I don't think this is going to be EU-wide. I think only some specific countries will get eSIM only. Personally, I do actually use eSIM, by the way. So I've been using eSIM only on my iPhone for the past few years. And for me, it's fine. On Android, I do want a physical SIM because I do change my Androids quite often. But when it comes to the iPhone, I use it for a full year. So I actually don't mind, personally. But let me know if you mind having or not having a physical SIM card slot. Another question from Maxim. Do you think the iPhone 17 Pro Max will have a real 8x 50 megapixel telephoto, or will they use 4x with 50 megapixels with 8x lossless? To be honest, I'm not sure because we've had a lot of leaks on this. So the most recent leaks have been suggesting that we will be seeing 8x optical, right? Which would be amazing. Like, I do hope that's the case. Because like I said before, if we get 8x optical, that means we'll see probably like a 16x lossless zoom, which would be insane. Like, that would make it the highest quality zoom on any phone. But I'm skeptical. I don't believe that'll be the case. Because if you think about it, all of these Chinese manufacturers, Oppo, OnePlus, Xiaomi, Huawei, Honor, like all of them, they use the best camera hardware on the market, right? Apple doesn't. They're still using a 3-year-old main sensor. The telephoto is very outdated. The ultralight is fine. Apple never used the highest end components. And I don't see that changing. So when you look at what the Chinese manufacturers have done, Huawei has a 7x optical zoom lens, which is great. But I don't see Apple including an even better one. Like, I would love to see that, but I just don't see that happening. So my guess is that we are gonna get maybe a 5x 48 megapixel lens. That'll be my guess, which is similar to what Google is doing, similar to what Samsung is doing, right? So that would be the norm. And then, because it's a high resolution sensor, you'll be able to use that sensor crop and then get something like, 8x, 10x lossless zoom. But I'll be really impressed and really surprised if Apple does anything more than that. Okay, so it looks like the poll is now showing 65% of you guys want me to daily drive the 17 Pro Max first. So I'll start with that, in that case. Right, let's see. Any other questions? Safu is asking, is reverse wireless charging confirmed? It is not confirmed. Well, nothing is confirmed until the event actually happens, but I should say that the rumors are pointing towards us getting reverse wireless charging. And on top of that, the design that we are getting is also pointing towards us getting reverse wireless charging. And on top of that, we already have reverse wireless charging, by the way, since the iPhone 12, but it only works if you've got the MagSafe battery pack, which Apple doesn't make anymore. So we shall see if we actually get that or not. David is saying, I'm probably going to still be using my Vivo X200 Pro for the zoom/macro shots. Yeah, I mean, I don't see Apple. The thing is, even if they include an 8x optical zoom lens, I would be surprised if they also give it macro capabilities. That would be amazing, but yeah, don't think that's going to be the case. Right, let me see what other questions. Okay, 66% of you want me to daily drive the Pro Max. Safu is thanking for the wallpaper. Awesome, happy that you like it. Which one are you using, by the way? Yeah, physical sim is a must. Comment coming from Jermaine, content creator, also known as Through Jermaine's Lens. Awesome channel, by the way. Like, if you want to see some really good videos about camera comparisons of different phones, then Jermaine does some incredible work. Okay, we've got 15 minutes until the Apple event starts. So I should probably talk about the Apple Watches and then the AirPods, because we have had some recent leaks on those, especially the AirPods. And yes, I know my water bottle is absolutely huge. This needs to keep me going for the entire event and after. Okay, so in terms of the Apple Watches, the Apple Watch Ultra 3 is actually going to be a pretty big upgrade. The design is staying the same, but the screen is getting bigger, or more specifically, the bezels are getting smaller. We've had some even more recent leaks on that over the weekend, by the way. That's great. Yeah, it's also getting 5G satellite SOS, which is awesome. Faster charging, a new chip, the improved always-on display, and maybe even a brighter screen. That has not been leaked, but that's my guess. So, yeah, that's probably what I'm going to upgrade to. So right now I'm using the Apple Watch Series 10. This is the base version, by the way, the aluminum one. It's very scratched, and my speaker is busted, by the way. There's a widespread issue with the Apple Watch Series 10. I don't know if you guys know about this, but you know how with the Series 10 they made the speaker grill very tiny, like it's impossible to even, it's very hard to even see it. And in my review, I said I do expect dust to get inside of the speaker grill and just, I don't know, break it. Well, that has not happened, but water did get inside and it could not escape. And because of that, it does sound muffled all the time. You can look up on Reddit. There's so many users having the same issue. Apple will give you a replacement if you speak to them, but even that will eventually break. So yeah, I think I will be switching to the Apple Watch Ultra this year. Yeah, the Series 11 is not getting many upgrades. It's getting the new chip, although performance-wise it should be the same as the S10 chip. It's also getting the blood pressure monitoring sensor. That's the newest edition, I would say, which the Ultra 3 is, of course, also getting. And that's mostly it. And, you know, 5G. No satellite connectivity. So those are the upgrades when it comes to the Apple Watches. And then when it comes to the AirPods, I've got some bad news. According to Mark Gurman, according to his latest report over the weekend, there's actually not going to be that many changes. So the case is getting smaller, apparently, which is great. But then the sound quality is not getting any better. Or the active noise canceling, or transparency mode. So, you know, that's fine, I guess. We're also set to be getting the heart rate monitor, which is great if you don't have an Apple Watch. But if you do, then it's kind of pointless. And I'm also expecting it not to work if you've got an Apple Watch, because at least with the Powerbeats Pro 2s that I've reviewed back in May, I think, if you had an Apple Watch, the heart rate monitor would simply not work. It would be off because your Apple Watch would be prioritized. So yeah, that's basically what we could see today at the Apple event. There's a couple more things that we could also see as like surprises. So we could see a brand new HomePod Mini. That could happen. Aside from that, we could also see the second-gen AirTag. And there's also been some reports that we will see the M5 iPad Pro. Although I'm a bit skeptical. I feel like September has always been an iPhone-focused event, and this year there's so much to talk about, right? The iPhone 17 Air, the Pro Max, then we've got the Apple Watches and the AirPods. Like, there's a lot to talk about, so I don't think they'll announce anything iPad-related, personally. I think that's an October announcement. Yeah, so that's pretty much everything to expect. The event starts in 12 minutes, so I'm gonna answer some of your questions. And I guess, yeah, we'll watch the event very soon. Right, so they were saying the AirPods Pro 2s were fantastic. Yeah, they were really, really good. Maxim is saying, okay, since 8x, if we do get a real 8x lens, is really far away from the last optical point, which is 2x, what do you think they might increase the resolution of the main sensor? Or I don't quite get the question, but I guess we'll have to see. I still don't know what they will do, but like I said before, I do expect them to just use a sensor crop. 5x 48 megapixel sensor crop. That's what I would put my money on. Sergio Q is asking, will a screen protector affect the anti-glare screen? Yes, if we do get anti-glare on the iPhone 17 Pro, which some of the recent leaks have said that yes, we may see that, then yes, using a screen protector that's not anti-glare will actually make it, well, glossy again. So that's something to keep in mind. Yeah, also the front-facing camera will be going to 24 megapixels, so that will get a bump, which is nice to see. Something that we haven't had since, I believe, the iPhone 11. So that's cool. And there was also this other leak that I should probably talk about. Apparently, there's going to be two versions of every iPhone model. one will have a bigger battery than the other. The one with a bigger battery will lack the physical SIM. The difference isn't that great. I think it was like 50 milliamp hours, so very small. But it is good to see that if Apple is removing the physical SIM from some models, or some regions, they will actually be using that extra space. Whereas before they just had a plastic, an empty plastic component essentially. So yeah, something to keep in mind. I'm just gonna quickly take a look at some of the recent reports and see if there's anything else that's been leaked. Apparently there's gonna be a new strap, like a body strap, which is really weird. You know how the Apple cases are rumored to come with a lanyard hole? Well, Apple will be selling some straps, one being a crossbody strap. I don't know who would use that, but yeah, apparently that'll be one of the accessories. Josh was asking, is it time to finally upgrade from the iPhone 13? Maybe I would say you do get a lot of upgrades. Like you get 48 megapixels on all the lenses from 12, so that's a big upgrade. Then you get the dynamic island, the bigger battery, the new design on the back. What else? With the iPhone 15, if I'm not mistaken, Apple introduced Smart HDR5, which finally fixed the blown out highlights in the processing. So you're also getting that. You get 4K 120, obviously the faster chip, more RAM, Apple Intelligence, all of that. Not that anyone should care about Apple Intelligence at this point. So I would say, yeah, from the iPhone 13, it would be a nice upgrade, especially if you're also changing your iPhone model. It's like if you're upgrading from the base iPhone 13 to an iPhone 17 Pro or Pro Max, then obviously the upgrades would be even bigger. AJ is saying that I heard the iPhone 17 is not much of an upgrade compared to the iPhone 16. You're right. So this is the iPhone 17, the base model. And yeah, there's not much changing. The design is basically the same. You get some new colors. You get the Apple A19 chip, same amount of RAM, 8 gigabytes. Other than that, the cameras are the same. Charging speeds are the same, at least on the base model. The front camera is being upgraded to a 24 megapixel lens. And we do get 120 Hz. So that's the big upgrade. But that's it. So the 17 is a small upgrade. Then, of course, the 17 Air is an entirely new phone. And then the 17 Pro and Pro Max are a decent upgrade, I would say. Not huge, but decent. It's mainly the zoom that you get. The zoom and the new design on the back. Those are the two main things. And the battery size increases. Yes, and Shadow Dance 4666 does make a good point that, yes, now the frame of the Pro models will be made out of aluminum instead of titanium. So that's another change that is worth mentioning. And then on top of that, we're also set to be getting a new thermal system on the Pro model specifically. So aluminum, first of all, does have a much higher thermal conductivity than stainless steel or titanium. So just by switching to aluminum, you will get a better thermal performance. So that's one thing. But on top of that, Apple is also rumored to have a proper vapor cooling chamber that they will apparently talk about quite a lot at the event. So that's something that I'm looking forward to. If anything, I don't game on my phone, by the way, at all. But I do tend to use it outside, especially when I travel to events and so on, quite a lot. So I do want the outdoor brightness to be more sustained, because right now the iPhone does boost to 2000 nits, which is really good, but it only does that for about 4 minutes and then it dims. So that's what I would hope for. Cool, Harry's also here. Say hello to Harry from our team. David is also here from our team, and then everyone else in the team is also watching. So yeah, I'm also here with Connor and Owen from the team who are behind the scene. manning the live stream. Yeah, so everyone's ready. We've got 5 minutes to go before the live stream starts. And yeah, there you go. I have my Apple event website open. Okay, so I should mention that the event page is now live. So I'm just gonna post the link. There you go, guys. Open this in a new tab, please, and still listen to this live stream. Quantum is asking, why didn't Apple invite you to the event personally? I don't know. It's just a weird relationship, I guess. Apple is very picky, let me put it that way. I did go to my very first Apple briefing this year, which is really cool. For the iPhone 16e, and then 2 more briefings for, one was for Apple Intelligence, the other one was for Apple Security and Privacy. But I'm still very early in the whole relationship with Apple phase, so we'll see how that goes. I guess you guys will know if they send over any review units or not. I haven't heard anything yet, so we'll know in the next few days. Yeah, so just open up the page. The Apple event page is live. You can hear the music. And yeah, that should start in 4 minutes. I'm also curious to see if they launch a new Apple TV. I don't know, I have a feeling that this event will be focused just on the iPhone and its accessories. But yeah, we'll see. Any last questions, guys? KTK is asking, would you recommend buying the highest end model and then trading it in for the highest end model each year? Trading it in. I think Apple does have an upgrade program, if I'm not mistaken, in some regions where you always get the latest iPhone. So I would suggest doing that if you do actually plan on upgrading every single year. Of course, the downside is you don't actually own your iPhone, so you cannot really sell it. Or you could buy it yourself. Hey, Pete, there you go. Pete is here, who's a great fellow content creator. You guys should definitely check out his channel. He's asking, how many iPhones are you buying today? Not today, on Friday, that's when pre-orders start, but I'll get one of each, at least, for the videos. And then for myself, I'm gonna get the 17 Pro Max, very likely. Owen from our team is saying that Cyberpunk may be running on the iPhone. Which, yeah, I would expect to see that as a potential announcement. Climate is saying maybe they'll surprise us with a Fold. I don't think so, that's coming next year. PS Universe, iPhone 15 Pro, iPhone 16, iPhone 15 Pro all day because you get 120Hz. And you can get it for the same price. David is saying that the event is now live, which is actually not on my end because I'm using Arc. So let me quickly just switch to Safari. 1 second, guys. No. Okay, give me 1 sec. I'll stick to Safari for my watching experience, at least.
I don't know, but I found these results on search.
Okay, I think the event is... Okay, it's not live yet, but it's about to start. That moment when I'm getting the audio like twice. I'm trying to figure out where that's coming from. Okay, cool. It's live now. Okay, guys. The Apple event is now live. Open up the link. And then... Vector, sorry, I cannot show it. You can kind of see the event in the corner, but I cannot make it full screen because Apple will strike down the channel. They've done that in the past. Okay. A quote from Steve regarding design. Okay, so they're clearly teasing the new iOS 26 design with liquid glass. Oh, thank you, Plamen. Plamen is just saying that he cannot wait to use wallpapers on the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Same. I do like how they started by showing us a lot of their design elements. So, yeah, definitely some new design changes coming. There we go. Tim Cook on stage talking about the design. Okay, so we're getting the AirPods Pro first, it seems. Okay, the next gen AirPods Pros. Okay. There you go. They look the same to me. Okay, so we're getting much better bass from the looks of it. Oh, twice ENC. Wow, okay. Right, so Apple's claiming that this is the best ANC on any earbuds. By the way, guys, you should watch this on YouTube. I'm talking about the event, because Apple's website is a bit ahead. Live translation. Okay. I'm excited for this. Oh, nice. Live translation works with both people wearing AirPods Pro as well. Yeah, I mean, Google has been doing this for the past 2 years, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know, but I found these results on search.
Okay, so improved fit. Oh, nice. IP57 water and sweat resistant. I think they were IPX4 before, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. There we go. Heart rate monitoring. Hmm. Okay, that's cool. So if you don't have an Apple Watch, you can just use your AirPods and still work out. And I love how they also track your calories. That's something that the Powerbeats Pro 2s don't do. That's cool. Okay, I love this. So you get your Move ring. Obviously, you don't get the other two rings. Longer battery life, okay. Oh, from 6 to 8. Same price, $249. Okay. Oh, today. Huh. It's interesting that you can pre-order them today. That's new. Okay, Apple Watch next. Yeah, good point, Sack. They haven't talked about the H3 chip. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure there is some sort of chip change because it does a lot of extra stuff. Heart rate monitoring, the calorie tracking. So we'll see. There you go, the Apple Watch. They're really quick with these presentations, by the way, so I think there's actually a lot to talk about when it comes to the iPhone. John is asking how long is the event. I'm not sure. I'm expecting about an hour and a half, but we'll see. Because the AirPods section was really rushed, I would say. At least it felt like that. So we'll see how long the Apple Watch section is. Well, let me check the Apple website. Yeah, the Apple Store is down. Wait, some of you guys are saying that you've pre-ordered the AirPods 3. Are you serious? Wait, let me check the app. I'm not sure if you're serious or not. Because that should not be possible. No, the Apple Store is down. But here's the thing, if you can pre-order the AirPods Pro 3s today, then will you be able to pre-order the iPhone today? Because unless I'm mistaken, in previous launches, you were only able to pre-order the Apple Watches and the AirPods, like everything, at the same time as the iPhones. Unless I'm mistaken, but I'm pretty sure it was like this. So let me know, guys. I've got a feeling that they'll still do the same process when it comes to pre-ordering the iPhones as before. Because otherwise it's just gonna be a mess. And we're not gonna get an iPhone day one, if that's actually the case. Okay, the Apple Watch ad is over. So now we're probably gonna see some of the new features. Okay, Apple Watch Series 11, guys. Let's see. Oh, new glass, okay. So we have 2 times the scratch resistance compared to a Series 10. Which is what I need, for sure. Because mine is really scratched. Yep, new 5G, as expected. Oh, nice. New Flow watch face. That looks awesome. Ooh, that's cool. Centigraph? What, that was the name? Let's see, blood pressure. Oh, Jermaine was able to buy the Air. No way. You sure? Are you guys trolling? Right, blood pressure. Right, so it's pretty much as expected. The blood pressure monitor would not be able to give you your actual blood pressure, but instead you'll get alerts if you've got hypertension specifically. Good one, Jermaine. I almost believed you. Sleep score, okay. We finally get a sleep core in the Apple Watch. Oh my god, it's only been, what, like 6 years or more? And don't tell me this is like Apple Watch Series 11 exclusive. That'll be crazy. Every single wearable on the market does this, by the way. I've got a feeling it's exclusive to the Series 11, because otherwise, why would they not announce it at WWDC? Right? "24 hours, nice. That's a huge upgrade, wow. 4 colors. New space gray. Oh my god, for the first time, yeah. New band colors. Okay, so here's the thing with the battery life. It was already more than 18 hours, right? It was never 24, but it was maybe like 20 or 21. Apple Watch SE3, finally. The S10 chip. So that means there's no S11 chip, right? Always on display, yep. Pretty much as expected. Gestures, okay. New design as well. Yeah, so the SE is getting some really nice upgrades. Temperature sensor. Is it me or the bezels are noticeably thicker than on the Series 7, 8, and 9? "18-hour battery life," okay. On the SE3. And fast charging, okay. So then why would anyone get the Series 11? 15 minutes, 8-hour charge. Oh, 5G as well, okay. Uh-huh. So Apple Watch Ultra, guys. Yeah, so if the Apple Watch SE3 gets 5G, but it still has the old chip, then the modem is outside of the chip. Which makes sense because that's a MediaTek, at least based on the leaks. Okay, Ultra 3. Oh, yeah, thinner bezels. There you go, guys. Nice. Largest display in an Apple Watch. You wait, point face. Finally. And I'm assuming you still get the other watch faces on the Ultra as well from the Series 11. Yep, satellite connectivity. Oh, larger battery. 42 hours, nice. Okay, that's a really good upgrade. New bands. Hmm. 42 hours, 1 hertz, or display. Okay, I'm definitely switching to the Ultra, guys. 100%. I was not expecting an improved battery life. Like that's new. Right. So we're just about to switch to the iPhones. So let me know what you guys think of the new AirPods and the new Apple Watches so far. And I just want to remind everyone that this stream is sponsored by ESR, and they've got some great cases and accessories for the iPhone 17s, which you can check out using the links below. They've got the ESR Cyber Tough case. They've got the latest screen protectors that have Gorilla Glass, which is great. And they've also got this 3-in-1 fast charger to charge your iPhone, AirPods, and Apple Watch. So yeah, you can check them out using the links below. And thanks again to ESR for sponsoring this live stream. iPhone time. Also pre-orders today for the Apple Watches, which is unexpected. iPhone, okay. They're so quick with these presentations. Like, I am wondering if this is going to be a short stream, or if there's actually going to be a lot more to talk about even after the iPhones. Four new models, each with a unique need. Okay. So iPhone 17 first. There you go. The colors that we showcased in our videos. Same as the dummy units. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not a fan of pastel colors. Like, I do much prefer the iPhone 16 blue. Oh, wait, is that a green? Or is that a black? Huh. Oh yeah, I forgot about the display increase, which is also getting bigger. 5 colors. Right, so it's still black. 6.3 inch. Thinner bezels. Also, it is promotion. From 10 hertz to 120. Oh, always on as well. Okay. Okay, that's new. 3,000 nits. No way. Okay, that's very impressive. Wow. So, will the Pro models be even brighter in that case? Wow. Ceramic shield too. Anti-reflective coating, no way. On the base model. Wow. Okay, this is very good so far. Okay, I'm impressed. Oh, 20% faster. Okay, than the iPhone 16. Right, let's see, all day battery life. 8 more hours. Huh. %50 in 20 minutes. Okay. iPhone cameras. Okay, so the base model is a much bigger update than expected. I'm honestly very impressed so far. Faster charging, more battery life. Right, so we've got this camera specs on screen. I don't believe those are changed. Oh. Oh, we've got a new 48 megapixel ultra. That was not leaked. Yeah, Adam is completely correct. The base model for the first time is actually a really good phone. Wow. It's a huge upgrade. Center stage front camera. Okay, that's strange. Hmm. Wow. So the front camera is actually a huge upgrade. And you can do landscape when you're in portrait. That's really cool. I'm honestly excited for the base model. Okay, I can finally recommend the base model to people now. Up to 18 megapixels. Hmm. Okay, that's a huge upgrade. Oh, 256 gigabytes of base storage. Hmm. If it's the same price, I will be very impressed. Okay, they're not revealing the price yet. Okay. I think the price is being increased. There's no way they're keeping it the same. Especially with more storage. iPhone 17 Air. Oh, it's got polished sides. Wow. Okay, I love the ad. Titanium. That looks so good. Oh, I love that wallpaper. It's almost as good as our wallpapers. I'm joking. It is really good. And then 4 colors, 1 camera module. Okay. Hmm. It looks really good. High density battery. Is it actually silicon carbon in that case? Hmm. Thinnest iPhone ever with a Power Pro. iPhone Air, so they dropped the 17 name. There was a leak about this, by the way, a last minute leak from earlier today. iPad Air, MacBook Air, iPhone Air, iPhone Pro. 5.6 mil, okay. Oh. So the camera bump actually has a purpose. Holds the chip. I kind of want to, I don't know, like part of me wants to switch to the Air, but then it's just one camera module. And I want to hear more about that battery. A19 Pro, okay. Oh wow, 3 times the peak compute of the 18 Pro. C1 modem, I guess. N1. Okay, so this is the Bluetooth 6. Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 6, okay. And then C1 modem. Oh. C1X. Why not C2? Most power efficient iPhone, okay. It looks like one camera, but it's actually 30 cameras in one if you zoom in. Okay, so sensor shift OIS, 2 microns, quad pixels. Yeah, I need to look more into this. I'm not sure which sensor that is. I think it's the same as the iPhone 17. I think. Four lenses in your pocket. Come on, guys. Since when do we call digital zoom multiple cameras? Oh, dual recording. Okay. Dolby Vision. Audio mix. eSIM only, okay. Right, let's see battery life. all-day battery life for the iPhone Air, but let's see, what does that actually mean? Oh, wait. They're not giving us any hours. Okay, it's bad. Right, it's pretty bad in that case. And then they're talking about the battery bank. Yeah, that's very suspicious. 40 hours with the battery bank. But they haven't given us the numbers without a battery bank. Okay. It's bad. That's what you can tell. Ooh, a bumper case. Fun fact, the bumper case for the iPhone 4 and 4S was my favorite case ever. Ever. Oh, there you go. And that's the body strap. Okay, so the battery life is bad. It's only got one camera. But it looks better than in the leaks because it's got the polished titanium frame. They haven't talked about silicon carbon. They just said it's high density battery. So I do want to learn more about that. iPhone 17 Pro. Okay, so let's see. There we go. New design confirmed. Solid aluminum. Start again. Okay. Ooh, the orange looks nice. Oh, it's international orange. From the looks of it. And the glass patch is also confirmed. Biggest battery in any iPhone. Camera plateau. Breathtaking range. There you go, new thermal system. Okay, that looks good. I do love how we get a unibody design, so everything's like one piece. And Owen from my team just mentioned that the wallpaper is almost identical to the iPad Pro one, which is actually a really good point. Okay, the 3 colors. Huh, okay. Okay. There we go, Jaws. Okay, I gotta say, first impressions, it looks better than in the leaks, which is what I thought would be the case as well. Also, what's happening with the black? Because they haven't showed a black. I don't think they're not gonna do black, because that'll be weird. Especially for a Pro model. And it would be a Yeah, very bad news for me. So it's the same chip as the Air, but with better thermals. Three finishes, no black. Really? Guys, what am I gonna do? That's tough now. Okay, well, I've decided I'm definitely going to the Pro. I'm just not sure which color. 6-core GPU, okay, so 1 extra GPU core. %40 better sustained performance, wow. Adrian is saying that now I need to get the Air because that comes in black. True. Yeah, that's a good point. So it's gonna be way more dribble when it comes to dropping it because you don't have glass on the back, aside from that patch. And I guess if it does crack, you could just put a sticker on top of it from the brand, who's not our sponsor for this video. That's CSR. But I guess you could do that. So the anti-reflective coating is there by default, which is awesome. Best battery life ever. Are we getting some numbers? Yeah, they're finally using that sim space. $39 hours. Okay. Question is, are we getting two versions? One that's eSIM only and one that's both? Like in the leaks. Because I think we are. Because like with the iPhone 17 Air, they said it's eSIM globally, but I haven't said that for the Pro. So I think with Pro you can pick when you order. Maybe. Yeah, so the front camera is the same as on the base model. Yeah, 40 megapixels, all three cameras. I want to hear about that zoom. Telephoto, there you go. Optical quality, yeah, so it's like I thought. Oh, it is 4x. f2.8. Yeah, it's like in the original leaks. Yeah, it's pretty much like I thought. Or worse than I thought. And of course they were not going to do a movable lens. Like, that's what the leaks were saying, but that movable part was just, I'm assuming, mistranslation from the Chinese leakers. Oh wow, 40x digital zoom. That's amazing. That's incredible, guys. I wonder who else does more than 40x. Literally everyone. I don't know, like, why can they not use better hardware? A 4x zoom lens on a flagship when the competitors have 7x and sensors that are as big as the main camera? I don't know, it's just... I'm disappointed. Because again, it's gonna be one of those things where... No, of course the samples that I showed you are perfect because, you know, they're taken in the perfect conditions possible. And I'm pretty sure they took like 500 photos and then picked the best one. And 40x digital zoom when Google just introduced 100x that's usable, by the way. ProRes RAW capture, okay. That's impressive. Yeah, so before you could do ProRAW for photos and ProRes, but not ProRes RAW. And ProRes was already huge. So now it's gonna be just gigantic. So my guess is that they're also gonna introduce a 2 terabyte version. Let's see. Yeah, I'm honestly just disappointed in the camera upgrades. They're still using the same main sensor for the 4th year in a row, which is absolutely insane. Okay, tech weapon case next. I'll tell you more about my camera thoughts at the end. Okay, I'll share my thoughts with you once the event finishes, and then we'll talk about everything. So far, I would say the Pro models are my main disappointment. 256 base, okay. Yeah, 2 terabyte, there you go, guessed it. Pro Max only, yeah. No price for that. This Friday, yep. Hmm. Oh man, okay, so the event is over. They started very strong, and then I don't know, I feel like they dropped the ball after. Okay, let me share my screen. And then I'm gonna refresh the Apple page, and then we can go through all of the announcements. So let me do that now. Actually, sorry, I won't do that yet because the page is not live yet. Okay, so, oh, never mind, it is live. Okay, cool, let me do that now. So now you should be able to see my screen. right? So I'm just sharing the Apple page, and we can go over all of the announcements, and you guys can ask me any questions and everything. Right. First of all, I feel like we should start with the AirPods because more people will be tuning in, and then of course we can talk about the iPhone once more people have tuned in, because I feel like that's what all of you want to talk about. So let's start with the AirPods. Let me go to the AirPods page. Let's see if this is live. AirPods Pro. Okay. All right, so AirPods Pro. I don't think the AirPods Pro page is live yet, so I think we need to go and access that page this way. There we go. AirPods Pro 3. Okay. So let's start with the AirPods Pro 3 and see what else can we see here. So I'm gonna go to the compare page because that's the best way to just take a look at all the differences. Never mind, the compare page is not live yet. Okay, let's go back in that case. I think they're still updating the site. But in terms of the AirPods Pro 3, there's two things that I want to learn about specifically. I want to see if the case is any smaller, and I also want to see if the pairing button on the back has changed in any way. Oh, H2. Huh. That's weird. So even though they've got the heart rate monitoring, and they've also got the calorie counter, I guess, they do still have the H2 chip, which is something that I was not expecting here. Okay. So H2 chip. Why is that? But then they've also got much improved noise canceling. How is that possible? Yeah, that's very surprising. Sorry, let me know if the audio is good and everything. Okay, cool. I've just checked that. Right, so we got the H2 chip. Improved noise canceling. We have more silicone ear tips. Wait, hold on. Am I looking at the wrong page? Yeah, I'm still looking at the... Sorry, guys. I thought the page got updated. I've only just realized. There we go. We are now on the actual page. And thank you, Mr. Sweetie. Right, so that's all good. Let me just... Right, I've just moved my window onto my main screen so that I can also see the chat at the same time. Okay, right, so AirPods Pro 3 page. I am on the right page now. So let's see. 2 times better noise canceling than the AirPods Pro 2. Okay, I want to see if they've got the H3 chip. No, it's still the H2. Wow. That's surprising. Next generation adaptive EQ. Of course, we've got the heart rate sensing. Then the new IP57 water resistance. So Mingchuko said over the last few days that apparently the AirPods Pro 4s are coming next year instead of a 3-year gap. Huh. So maybe we're getting the H3 with next year's version. Precision finding. Okay. Right. Is the compare page live? Yes. Okay, right. Let's see. AirPods Pro 3 versus AirPods Pro 2. Is the case smaller? It's hard to tell. Maybe. We'll look at the dimensions in a second. So, still got the same chip. And then the 3, it says that we have 4 times more active noise canceling than the original AirPods Pros compared to 2 times. So, twice as much active noise canceling apparently. I don't know how they did that because it is the same chip. So, that's interesting. Is that literally just a firmware update? Okay, then let's say the heart rate. Of course, if you don't have an Apple Watch, I guess you'll find that useful. But if you do, it's pretty much useless. 8 hours of battery life on the AirPods. Oh, look at that. The battery life is worse. So combined with the case, so it's got 24 hours compared to 30. So that's a downgrade. So maybe the case is smaller. IP57, yep, from IP54. So if you run in the rain, well, if you're UK based, then I guess that's something good to have. By the way, I did shower on purpose with the AirPods Pro 1s, and they were fine once I upgraded to the 2s. Heart rate sensor, microphones seem to be the same. Okay, so we do get the U2 chip, so that's new. The U2 chip in the MagSafe charging case for more precision findings, which they haven't talked about at the event, so that's new. And then, right, let's take a look at the dimensions. So, AirPods Pro 3, MagSafe charging case. Oh, the case is bigger. It's not, it's actually bigger. It's lighter, but it's actually bigger. Okay. But the AirPods are smaller. That's weird. The AirPods are smaller but heavier. Okay. Let's take a look at the battery. So again, 8 hours, 24 hours. Yeah, so the battery specifically of the case has been reduced, but the case is bigger, so I'm not really sure what's happening there. Yeah, let me know if I missed something. And then we get one extra ear tip. Yeah. Okay. That's weird, I gotta say. It's a weird upgrade. Of course, they don't come in black, it's just white, which is, you know, a bit sad. I guess now, if you look at these three side by side, it doesn't look as bad for the AirPods Maxes because they still have the H1. Like, imagine if this H2 chip is actually a new chip, but they are calling it the H2, just so that the AirPods Maxes. Okay, I don't think that's the case, but it would be funny if that actually was the case. Now, let's see. If I zoom in here, I can still see the LED light, so that's still there. Of course, we cannot really see the back of the AirPods. So let me just go to tech specs and see if there's an image of the back, because I want to see if that pairing button is still there. So H2 chip, U2 chip, already showing the back. Bluetooth 5.3, so that's the same. Yeah. I gotta be honest, I was expecting more. Like, not having the H3 is very suspicious. Offering more battery life on the AirPods is great, but then less on the case. Also, the case being bigger. Yeah, it is weird. Okay, do you guys have any questions regarding the AirPods? Because I will be getting them, of course. And I think I'll actually upgrade to them, not just get them for the review because of USB-C, if anything. And the improved noise canceling, which I do wanna experience that. But aside from that, I don't think they're a big upgrade over the second gens. So if you already have the second gens, especially the second gens with USB-C, I don't think you should upgrade. If you've got the Lightning ones, then maybe. But yeah. Oh, sorry, the live translation, forgot about that. Yeah, true. That is cool. Live translation and the water resistance, I guess, even though, like I said, I literally showered with the AirPods Pro 1s, not the second gens, and they were fine. And I did that multiple times, by the way. So, yeah, they're fine. Okay, that's about it. Should we move on to the Apple Watches in that case? Okay, Apple Watch next. Sorry, a few more questions. Do they have lossless audio? No. Okay, actually, before I move on, because you guys are asking quite a few questions about the AirPods, I just want to see if there's anything else that I'm missing. Thank you for the donation, Oliver. Sadly, no Apple TV. Right, so AirPods Pro 3 is the best in class active noise canceling. But here's the thing, if it's literally the same chip, but the noise canceling is improved, it also handles the heart rate sensing and the calorie counting, then they're squeezing more power out of that chip somehow. So it literally seems like the AirPods Pro 3s are a firmer update over the AirPods Pro 2s in that case, right? Unless they've also upgraded the microphones. And the microphones are actually what are the reason essentially for the improved noise canceling. So let's see. Designed with an upgraded acoustic seal, okay. New ultra, okay, and new ultra low noise microphones. Okay, so it is the microphones. Okay, so the audio processing is the same, because it is the same chip, but the microphones are upgraded. Okay, so that makes more sense. New microphones, sorry, I'm just updating my notes, for improved ANC. Okay. All Might, thank you for the donation. What about 12 gigabytes of RAM? Yes, we do get 12 gigabytes of RAM. They haven't specifically said 12, because Apple never mentions the RAM amounts for the iPhones. But we do get 12 on the iPhone 17 Air. Sorry, iPhone Air, new name, forgot about that. And on the Pro models, because they did say more memory. Okay, so we are getting that. Very likely. Okay, voice isolation, adaptive audio. Yeah, the sound of silence. Okay, so that's everything to do with the AirPods. Okay, cool. I would say the AirPods are a bit of a mid upgrade. Nothing too special. The second gens were a huge upgrade over the first. This is, you know, it's fine. Okay, let's take a look at the Apple Watches, because that's what I'm excited for, specifically the Ultra 3. But let's start with the Series 11. So I'm just gonna bring out my notes. So one of the things that's new that was not leaked is the twice as good scratch resistance compared to the Series 10. So there you go. These are all the changes. Sleek finish, thinnest Apple Watch yet. Is it? Have they made it even thinner? Longer battery life. I'm happy to see this. So this is the first time ever in an Apple Watch that Apple has increased the battery life, at least the quoted battery life specifically. They've always claimed 18 hours on the non-Ultra models. Now it's 24, which is a pretty significant improvement. But like I said, even with my usage, I was still getting more than that. And they still have the faulty speaker design. That's gonna break. Like, that's okay. In case you missed it, I was saying at the beginning of the stream that my Apple Watch Series 10, which is what I'm using right now, the speaker is busted. And I'm not the only one. Like, the Reddit, if you go on Reddit, it's full of people having issues with the Apple Watch Series 10, especially if you shower with it. Because water gets in there, it doesn't escape because of the speaker design. So, yeah, it's just a faulty design. And even if you get it replaced by Apple, you would still get the same, issue. Okay, 50-meter water resistance, so that's the same. Yeah, I want to see if there's any more changes that Apple has not talked about. So let me just go to the compare page. That's literally the best way to tell. Okay, watch, and then compare watch. And we're going to do Series 10 and Series 11. Okay. So previously we had these 4 colors. Now we've got these 4 colors. So essentially space black, jet black is still here. That was a very popular color. Then space gray, wait, no, sorry, my bad. They're combining the colors, so it's a bit confusing. Yeah, we do have one new color this year, which is space gray. And from the looks of it, this is kind of like silver, just a tiny bit darker. It's a very light space gray. It looks to me very similar to the iPhone 6 space gray, if you guys remember that. Yeah, and then in terms of titanium, we get natural, gold, and slate. Slate, natural. Okay, so the titanium colors are the same. Screen size is the same. The brightness is the same. Then, of course, we get the hypertension. Wait, why does the Series 10 have this as well? Hypertension. You guys see that? Wait, Ultra 2. Okay, I think this is... Wait, what? Okay. This is surprising. So either someone really messed up the Apple Watch pages, or the Series 10 and the Ultra 2 also get hypertension notifications. But how is that possible without an updated sensor? Unless they're getting that info from the current sensor. Yeah, this is weird. I'll need to ask Apple about this. Or, I don't know, maybe they'll update the website. Okay, I'll make a note of this because it is strange. Hypertension on the Series 10 and Ultra 2, question mark. Okay, so that's weird. Then, let's see what else. Everything else looks the same, 5G capable. So here's the thing. The 5G modem on a smartwatch will never have the same speeds as a 5G modem on a phone. So don't expect to get like 2 gigabits per second download speeds or anything crazy like that. It will be faster, but it won't be significantly faster. Now, for me, whenever I'm out with just my Apple Watch and I don't have my phone and I'm using cellular, I'm still getting some really good speed. So I never have issues, you know, live streaming streaming my music or anything like that. So for me, it's always been fine. So yeah, I'm not sure if we'll be able to tell of any improvements when it comes to this. Wrist flick gesture. Wait, what's that? Wrist flick gesture, which the Series 10 does not have. I'll make a note of that as well. Wrist flick gesture. Okay. So the battery life is now 24 hours from 18, and then 38 in low power mode. So in low power mode, we only get 2 extra hours, but in normal mode, we get 6. Fast charging is the same though. Yeah, so it seems like the Series 11, it's the same chip, it's not ES11, it's again the same 10. They haven't even rebranded that, which is what they've done in the past. They've rebranded previous chips. Okay, let's take a look at sensors, because that's how we can tell if we do get... Yeah, they don't talk about the blood pressure. So is it literally a software update? Health and wellness, there we go. The Series 10 also has hypertension notifications. Okay, number 1. Let's look at the footnotes. Let's go to number 1. What does it say here? As of September, 9th of September, hypertension notifications with availability on Apple Watch Series 9 and the Apple Watch Ultra. It is software. No way. And it's Series 9 as well. Huh. So it's not even the S10 chip in that case. It's the S9 chip, which we have on both the Series 9 and the Ultra 2. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, sorry, let me just bring up the Series 9. This one had the S9 chip, but trying to remember if performance-wise it was the same as the S10 or the S10 was the upgraded one. I think it was the same. Huh. Yes, I think it's the same. Yeah, it is the same. So, okay, well in that case, if you've got the Series 10, there's literally no reason to upgrade to the Series 11, aside from maybe the battery life. But even then, I don't think the battery life alone, because you still get fast charging. I guess you get, you know, the improved scratch resistance, but other than that, it's basically the same watch. Okay. Time to talk about the Ultra. Okay, let's do the Ultra. First, we'll go to the page, because this is the one that I'm excited for, and this is the one that I'm gonna upgrade to. So, Apple Watch Ultra 3, yeah, I do need to pre-order, guys. Okay, I'll do it after the stream. I'm hoping that they will still be available. Okay, I want to talk about these first, and then I'll pray that we can still get them on release day. At least with the iPhones, that's not going to be an issue. Okay, so we got 5G. Doesn't really talk about speeds, just that, you know, it's faster. Also better in areas with weaker reception. Yeah, I'm surprised that the display is not brighter. I was hoping that it would go above 3000 nits, just because a lot of the Android smartwatches, like the Pixel Watch 4 and the Samsung Galaxy Watch 8, they both have 3000 nit displays now. So they actually have the same brightness as the Ultra. I'm talking about the base models of those watches, by the way. I do like seeing this. So the battery life is quite improved. Satellite connectivity for SOS specifically, which is great, because I have been out with my watch only before, and it's just nice knowing that you've got that extra peace of mind, you know, that extra safety from the satellite connectivity and also the improved battery life. So that's really, really nice. And then we also get some new straps. Okay, let's go to the compare page now. And let's see if there's anything else. So, watch, compare. Let's do Ultra 3 and then Ultra 2. Okay, let's see. So, LTPO 3, yep. Hypertension notifications. Emergency SOS. Okay, the S10 chip compared to the S9. So yes, we do get the new chip, which enables the wrist flick and the double tap. Sorry, the wrist flick. 42 hours. Okay, fast charging. Okay, so it is improved, but still not as good as the Series 11, because this one can do... Yeah, this was pretty much my prediction, 45 minutes. I don't know if you guys watched our Apple Watch Ultra 3 leaks and rumors, the first one that we did, which was, I think, back in May. This was my prediction for the Ultra 3, 45 minutes, which is basically what we got. So, you know, it's better. Yeah, it's a bigger battery, so it will charge slower than the Series 11 and 10. Right, the case size is the same. Wait, is this thinner? Is it actually thinner? Because that's the depth, right? Height, width, and depth. Is it 2 millimeters thinner? Okay, let me go to the Ultra 1. I think it may be thinner. Let me make a note of this. Unless this is a typo. Yeah, so if we go to the series, let's go to Series 10. And then we'll talk about the iPhones right after this. So Series 10, and then let's go to Series 9. So between the Series 10 and the 9, yeah, the 10 was 1 millimeter thinner. Okay. So that is the thickness. So it is thinner in that case. Because if I compare the Ultra 3 with the Ultra 2, this is 2 millimeters thinner. Okay. And now if we compare the Series 9 to the Ultra 3, yeah, the Ultra 3 is still thicker. But they have made it thinner, which is really nice to see. They have not talked about it at the event, unless I missed it. Okay. Brightness is the same, and there we go. We are getting a bigger viewing area. And then if we compare this with the Series 11, we get a tiny bit more. Not massively, but a tiny bit more. There we go. So it is technically the biggest display, but not significantly bigger than the Apple Watch Series 10 or 11 for that matter. Let me go to the 11. Yeah, and I should also mention that despite the fact that the Ultra 2 had a smaller screen than the Series 10, it could actually display more info because it had, essentially the text formatting was smaller, so you could display more data points. So that's something to keep in mind. And then yeah, everything else is the same. Aside from, of course, the battery. So for me, like I said, I'm upgrading to the Ultra. Mostly because of, well, I was a big fan of the Ultra 2 when I used it for like a month or a month and a half. The main reason why I switched back was the charging speeds, which were really slow. But now the fact that they're faster and we get a longer battery life, I think that's, I mean, that's really what has sold it for me. Of course, I'll use it long term and then I'll let you guys know. And that's pretty much it for the Apple Watch Ultra. Okay, shall we move on to the iPhones? I think we should. Unless you guys have any questions. Any Apple Watch questions before we move on to the iPhones? Immortal is saying new AirPods have less total battery capacity with a case, which is true. Adam is saying that he needs that improved ANC for the AirPods. To be honest, they were already really good on the 2. So if they've improved that even further, then yeah, I'm gonna be very impressed. Okay, so I think we're good with the Apple Watches and the AirPods. I think we can move on to the iPhones. Okay, let me bring up the iPhone page. Now, before we start talking about the iPhones, I got to give a huge shout out to ESR, the sponsor of today's live stream. So if you're getting a new iPhone 17, whether that's the new iPhone 17 Pro or the Air, which is just called the Air, or the iPhone 17, you're probably going to get a case. And ESR has a lot of great case options. So the one that they've sent over is this one right here. Let me show you the case. We've actually got an iPhone 17 dumb unit inside. What I'll do actually, let me just switch the camera to so that you can see me full screen. So there you go. This is the ESR iPhone 17 Pro Max case, and this is the Cyber Tough case. And what's cool about this is that it offers you all-around protection. In fact, it even offers you protection on the USB-C port and the speakers as well. So it's super, super tough. And it's also got a built-in kickstand on the camera plateau itself, which is really cool. So there you go. Sorry, let me just check. Yeah, live stream is still all good. So this is the ESR Cyber Tough case. Now, they've also got the ESR Ultra Fit Armorite Pro screen protector. What's cool about this is that it actually uses glass made by Corning. So it's gonna offer you a similar level of scratch resistance and drop protection as the actual screen on your phone. Not necessarily the iPhone one because that's ceramic shield, but if you've got an Android, a lot of them come with glass, like Gorilla Glass Victus, for example, 1 or 2. So it's gonna be very similar to that. And in fact, compared to other screen protectors, this offers you up to 10 times stronger scratch protection and drop resistance as well. But I think my favorite accessory from ESR is actually this one right here. So this is a 3-in-1 charger that can charge your iPhone, your AirPods, and guess what? Your Apple Watch as well on the back. So this one is also Qi 2 ready, by the way, and it can charge at up to 25 watts, which is the full charging speed of the iPhone 17 series. It's also got a fan, so it can keep your iPhone cool. It can sustain the battery health and also sustain those speeds. And this is launching on September the 15th, by the way. And if you want to order any of these iPhone 17 accessories from ESR, then the links are down below in the description. Okay. Once again, thanks to ESR for sponsoring this live stream. And now let's go back to the website. And let's take a look at the iPhone 17 series and everything that's changed. So I'm going to start with the base iPhone 17 model, which I think this is the biggest upgrade that we got, I think, ever to the base model. Like, this is huge. This is way better than we thought. So what do we get? Well, first of all, we get a bigger body. So this is now a 6.3-inch display compared to the previous 6.1-inch. So it's a bigger phone. It's the same size as the Pro model now, which is great. And on top of that, there we go. They're talking about the new larger display, which also has ceramic shield too, right? On top of that, you also get 120 Hz ProMotion. Finally, finally, after so many years, we now have 120 Hz ProMotion on the base model, which is great. But there's more. It's actually 1 to 120 Hz, which was not supposed to be the case. At least according to the leaks, this was supposed to be a fixed 120 Hz refresh rate, or at least 60 to 120, but it's actually a variable ProMotion, which is great, because that means we also get guess what? We get always on, okay, on the base model, which is great. But wait, there's more. We also get a 3000 nit peak brightness. That's 1000 nits brighter than the previous Pro models, right? So that's new, that has not been leaked, and that's insane. And we also get a new anti-reflective coating, okay? So that's insane. This is the same display, if I'm not mistaken, this is the exact same display that the Pro models have. And we'll take a look at those side by side in just a second. But yeah, the display upgrades are just massive. But there's more. The front camera. So we now get a 24 megapixel, they saying it's 18, and that's because it's now a squared off sensor. So you can essentially take vertical and landscape photos even when your phone is in portrait mode. It's in a way similar to the open gate functionality that some professional cameras have, including the camera that we use for our videos, where you just shoot once and then you can reframe that to vertical or horizontal. So that's cool. Like, we heard in the leaks, we knew that this was going to be an upgrade front camera, 24 megapixels, but what we didn't know was that this was also a squared off sensor. So that's awesome. I love that. You can also do dual video capture now, so you can actually record with both the front and the back camera at the same time, which is great. And you can also get way more stable video with a front-facing camera, because you're never going to shoot at the full resolution of the sensor. It's only going to be a portion of that, and then, of course, with electronic stabilization, you can just move that frame and then stabilize it. So that's really, really good. And then, of course, when you're doing FaceTime calls, just like on the iPad, you've got center stage, so it can follow you around. Okay. We also get a new ultra-wide camera, which, again, was not leaked. The cameras were supposed to be the same as on the iPhone 16, but that's not the case. This is the same ultra-wide, I believe, as on the iPhone 16 Pro. That means you get macro, and you also get 2x sensor crop and 24 megapixel default resolution. Although, from my experience, the new ultra-wide isn't actually, or at least on the 16 Pro, it hasn't been that much of an upgrade over the 15 Pro's ultra-wide, unless you were shooting in the full 48 megapixel resolution. So, yeah, all in all, the iPhone, of course, you also get the A19 with 8 gigabytes of RAM. You also get faster charging, 50% in 20 minutes compared to 30 minutes. And it looks like you can now use a 40-watt power adapter, which is great because it used to be 27 watts max. So that's awesome. And you can also compare the battery life and some of the other specs and features with the previous iPhone. So compared to the iPhone 15, you actually cannot select 16 here. You get a 40% faster CPU, 80% faster GPU, and 10 more hours of video playback, okay? And they've got a new chart here that lets us compare. Okay, this is cool. It ships the camera. Okay. Right, we'll take a look at all of that in a second. We also get Wi-Fi 7, which is new. We also get, actually, no, sorry, I think I'm wrong. Wi-Fi 7 was introduced last year, but this is Wi-Fi 7 with Apple's new chip, the N1. We also get Bluetooth 6, that is new. We also get 5G, thanks to the Apple C1X modem, which is now even more efficient. And then we get eSIM only on the iPhone 17, base iPhone 17. So all in all, this is a huge upgrade. I'm really impressed with the base model. And it's honestly the iPhone that I would now recommend. Like, if anyone asks me, okay, which iPhone should I get? I would just say the base model because it's that good. It's really, really good. Okay. Now, before I move on to the Pro model, I want to look at a compare page. Okay, so I want to see if we go to the iPhone 17 base, we go to the iPhone 16, and maybe let's put the iPhone 15 here. So let's take a look and see what other changes do we spot. Of course, the colors are new. I'm not a fan of the new blue, I gotta say. I think it's fine. It's better than the iPhone 15 blue, which was like white, right? But I do believe the iPhone 16 blue was like the best blue that Apple ever had. Okay, so We get a bigger screen, we get ProMotion always on. Again, that was not expected. Then we get the new Ceramic Shield 2. We also get the new A19 chip. We get a 30-hour battery life, which is 8 hours more than before, or 10 hours compared to the iPhone 15. We get the new front camera, which can rotate. You get center stage, all of that, which is great. Yeah, we got the new ultra wide, which again, that was not leaked. You still get a macro like before, but you get, high resolution sensor. Yeah, sadly, you still have USB 2.0 speeds. So if you are someone who shoots professionally with their iPhone, I mean, not professionally, you know what I mean. If you're a content creator who uses their iPhone, then transferring the footage from your base iPhone 17 to your MacBook or whatever is still gonna take a long time because it's still just USB 2.0, which is 480 megabits per second, by the way. So it's gonna be slow. So I would still recommend an iPhone Pro, even if it's 15 Pro, 16 Pro, 17 Pro, doesn't matter. Just get a Pro so that you do get that faster, those faster USB transfer speeds. Of course, you can AirDrop, so that's fine, but yeah, it's just gonna take longer. That's it. It's interesting that the MagSafe wireless charging speeds have been bumped. From my understanding, this is also an iOS update as well. So the iPhone 16, all the models will now get faster speeds as well than what they had at launch. So 25 watts is what we've got now. And that's if you're using the latest MagSafe puck, so you need the newest one, with a 30-watt adapter or higher. And that's what when I mentioned ESR, they do offer those speeds. The capacity has also been increased, okay? And dimensions are slightly different. So thickness-wise, it is a bit thicker, but not significantly. And then let's see if there's anything else that's worth mentioning. So we still have Smart HDR5. So they said the image pipeline has improved. However, the image processing seems to be the same, at least judging by the fact that we still have Smart HDR5. Video recording is the same, but we do get dual capture, which is 4K 30, which I still think is fine. Right, what else? Power and battery. So we do get Qi 2 support, which, by the way, the page for the iPhone 16 has been updated as well. So Qi 2 is there. We get 30 hours of video playback compared to 22, 27 if you're streaming it, and then 50% charge in 20 minutes compared to, there you go, if you're using a 40-watt charger compared to 20 watts on the iPhone 16. In terms of the price, I do have these written down. So the price is the same. It's not actually, it hasn't gone up, which I'm very, very surprised to see. Yeah. First impressions, iPhone 17 is really the star of the show this year. Like, it's incredible. Okay, let's take a look at the iPhone 17 Air. And then we'll talk about reverse wireless charging. I can see that you've got some questions about that. Okay, so the iPhone 17 Air it's very interesting because sure, we knew all about it. Like, this thing has been leaked like crazy. We had dummy units for the past few months. Yeah, it's not been a surprise, but there are some surprising aspects to it. Quite a few. I would say the name is the biggest one because it's not called iPhone 17 Air, it's just called iPhone Air, which to me points to the fact that Apple's trying to change the whole iPhone naming scheme. I think next year, they're gonna drop the number completely. There's not gonna be an iPhone 18. There's just gonna be iPhone Pro, iPhone, and then iPhone Air, which I think is fine. Like, you know, with the MacBooks, we don't have MacBook 26 Pro. We have MacBook Pro, right? MacBook Air. So I think that's fine. Same thing with the iPads. Same thing with the Apple Watches. So as long as, I guess the thing with the iPhones is, if you were to buy, you know, they could just call them iPhone 2027 version or iPhone iPhone Air 2027, iPhone Air 2026. But what happens if you buy the iPhone Air 2026 in 2028? You buy it in 2028, but it's the 2026 version. I think that may confuse some people. Because of course carriers and even Apple, they still sell the older versions. Coopster, thank you for the massive tip. Win with the live stream as always, Team ZONEofTECH. Was curious about your final thoughts on the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Okay, so I haven't talked about the iPhone 17 Pro Max yet, but since you've asked and since you've tipped now, then I'll tell you my thoughts and then I'll come back to the iPhone Air. So let me just do that. Okay, let me do that. I'll switch to the Pro Max. So I think it's a bit underwhelming, honestly. I think it's weird that they don't have a black version because they've always had a black iPhone. In fact, this is the first time an iPhone Pro or an iPhone doesn't come in any shade of black or gray in 13 years, right? So it's really, really weird. The only iPhones that shipped without a black color was the very first iPhone and the iPhone 5C. Yeah, it's just weird. Really weird that doesn't come in black because I don't even know which color to go with. I'm not gonna go with the orange because that stands out too much and I don't like having something that stands out. I just don't like flashy stuff. The blue, I guess it's fine. I used to have the 12 Pro blue. So I guess the blue is fine. I do like it. And then, you know, there's the white, the silver, the natural titanium, which is, you know, the only neutral color that you have. So my guess is that they will launch a black in March or something like that. They will launch one later. In fact, even the dummy units that we've got, they do come in black. So that's just weird. I think they're holding off on that for whatever reason. Maybe to try and boost sales or whatever. Yeah, so I think I will go probably with the blue because my MacBook is also blue, so it would kind of match that. And I'm gonna go for the black Apple Watch Ultra, but then I'm not gonna have an iPhone that's gonna match the Apple Watch Ultra, which is weird because now we have a design that actually matches the Apple Watch Ultra. If you take a look at the camera plateau, that's how they called it. Okay, so I think color-wise it's weird. I think design-wise it's actually better than in the leaks because if I bring up one of our dumb units here, you can probably see, or hold on, let me just switch to my camera. So you can probably see that this one had glass, so frosted glass on the back and then glossy glass on the camera module, right? Which, you know, looked okay, but I think it still looked ugly, objectively ugly. Now, if we go back and we take a look at the iPhones here, I still think that the current design is better. Like visually, I think the iPhone 16 design, I think it's a prettier design. But I don't think this is bad. The fact that we get a full aluminum body, I think that's good because it's more durable. I also understand why they have the patch on the back because, you know, if you've got a full metal phone, then wireless charging is not going to work. Yeah, so I understand why they've done that. I'm not a fan of the weird camera plateau design, the fact that they've got the lenses here. But again, I also understand that because we made a video explaining why that's the case, because they want to keep spatial video, and spatial video wouldn't work if they have the sensors horizontal, and that's because of the shape of the sensor, which is 4x3 like Apple said. So, you know, I get it. I fully get it. It makes sense. And it's not too bad design-wise. It's just the colors that are a bit of an odd choice. Okay, let's talk about the cameras. I'm gonna leave the design. Let's talk about the cameras. Because I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed. First of all, let's take a look at the main camera. So, I don't know, they introduced this weird page, which is very small that, I don't know what's up with this. I guess you can kind of see the differences between the iPhone models, but, yeah. Anyway, so, yeah, let's talk about let's go back to the cameras. I'm trying to compare iPhone cameras. Okay, there we go. That's what I was looking for. 48 megapixel main camera. What do you see here? F's 1/4 1.78 aperture, and then the sensor size has 1.22 micron sized pixels. What does that remind you of? The camera of the iPhone 16 Pro, or the camera of the iPhone 15 Pro or 14 Pro. It's the same camera once again. So for the 4th year in a row, Apple's giving us the exact same main camera, which is so lazy. Like, they're recycling this camera. Don't get me wrong, it's a good sensor, but it's still far behind the Chinese competitors. Like Oppo, Honor, even OnePlus, Huawei, they all have bigger sensors, right? Some manufacturers have 1-inch sensors, which are incredible in low light. Apple's not doing that, even though they could. But I guess it's way cheaper to recycle the same main camera. Okay, the ultra-wide is again the same, which is fine, but it's just a small sensor once again. Like, if you look at the Vivo X300 Ultra, the Vivo X300 Ultra has literally a main camera sensor for its ultra-wide, and it's insane. Apple's not doing that. Apple's got a tiny sensor for the ultra-wide. Okay. And then we've got the telephoto, which is new. This is a new sensor, and we'll take a look at that in a second. But it's disappointing. It's pretty much like I thought. Like, in the initial leaks, if you guys remember this, the initial leaks were saying that Apple would be downgrading the telephoto to a 4x, but upgrading the resolution to 48 megapixels. So when I saw that, I was like, yeah, makes perfect sense, because Apple could then claim that, oh, with the sensor crop, they're giving us like, 8x lossless zoom, which 8x is of course more than 5x. So they could frame this as an upgrade, even though the optical zoom itself is a downgrade, right? Similar to what Samsung did, like with the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra and the S22 Ultra, they had a 10x optical zoom lens, optically 10x, which was really impressive. And then they dropped it to a 5x from the S23, if I'm not mistaken. And then the leaks were saying that this would be a lens that moves. And when I saw it, I was like, okay, that'll be cool. Like a lens that physically moves from 5x to 8x. But I was skeptical. I even said it at the beginning of the live stream that I don't believe that to be the case, because that would mean that Apple's doing more in the camera department than all the Chinese competitors, which, considering that they're not upgrading the main module, how could they upgrade the telephoto to be significantly better than anyone on the market? Okay. Now, I guess you get 40x digital zoom from 25x, but keep in mind, every single auto manufacturer offers 100x or more. Like, we've got 125x on Huawei phones, and we've got 40x on the latest iPhone, which is just, I don't know, it's just feels like a joke. And keep in mind, 40x would not be usable. 40x would not be usable. Whereas on phones like the Pixel 10 Pro XL or 10 Pro, you have 100x that is usable. Sure, it is generated by AI, it's regenerated. But if you shoot a building, you can actually use that photo, and you can post it on your social media. I'm just saying. Okay, so other than that, we get the new front camera, like the base model. We also get ProRes RAW, which I do like seeing this, but the storage that you'll need for this is gonna be insane. I think even if you've got 1 terabyte of free storage, you'll only be able to record maybe 10 minutes in ProRes RAW, maybe, or maybe 20 minutes, I don't know, but I don't think you'll be able to do a lot with this, unless you connect an external SSD. If you do that, sure. But then the thing is, if you go through all of this hassle, like imagine, okay, you need an external SSD, cool. You're probably gonna get a rig, a cage or something for the iPhone, maybe an external lens. By the time you add all of these things up, and the SSD price, which I know they're cheap, but I'm just saying, if you're using your iPhone professionally to actually shoot content, you're probably making money from that. And if you're making money from that, you're probably able to afford an actual camera. And even if you buy like a fairly cheap camera, a mid-range camera, it's still gonna give you better results than the iPhone. So I do appreciate Apple doing this. I'm just saying that you will need a 2 terabyte iPhone very likely for that. Or you'll need to use an external SSD. But hey, it's good that they're giving you that option. And we also get Dolby Vision now, which is new. Okay, so I'm just looking at this new page that I've got. Okay, I think I'm gonna skip this page. So I was hoping that you could compare the cameras of different iPhone models, but it seems like the comparison is very, very top level. Like they're just showing the zoom ranges. Okay, nothing else. We also get the new A19 Pro chip. The battery life is significantly improved though, so I do like seeing that. So again, you cannot compare the iPhone 16s because I'm assuming that Apple's trying to push you to upgrade if you've got an iPhone 15. Like, you know, there's very few people that would actually upgrade from the 16, but more if, you know, more people from the iPhone 15. So compared to the 15 Pro Max, the 17 Pro Max is 20% faster CPU-wise, 50% faster GPU-wise. That's a huge upgrade. Then we also get 2 more hours of video playback and 8 more hours on of video playback on the 17 Pro Max. So the 17 Pro Max is a huge upgrade battery life-wise. And then again, we get this weird new page. Sorry, guys. Need to drink some water. Okay. Also, we get 1 extra GPU core on the iPhone 17 Pro compared to the iPhone 17 Air. So the iPhone 17 Air has the same chip. I'll talk about the Air in a second. But it has, it doesn't have the thermal system, which the 17 Pro and Pro Max has. And it's got 1 less GPU core. Okay. Yeah, one more thing that I should mention with the camera is that we will be doing camera comparisons, of course. So we shall see how that zoom camera performs. I don't think I'm going to be impressed. But anyway, we'll see. And we'll also compare it against the iPhone 16 Pro. Because Apple did say that there's a new image pipeline. The image processing, we'll see if that's changed. They're still using Smart HDR5. There's no Smart HDR6. And the big upgrade in processing was with the iPhone 15 Pro when they introduced the Smart HDR5 that fixed the highlight processing. So yeah, they don't have that here. But the pipeline is improved. So we'll need to see if the end result is any better or not, even on that main camera. I don't think it will be, but we shall see. Of course, the big upgrade is the new thermal system because Apple is finally using a vapor chamber, something that even mid-range Android phones have been using for years now. So we finally have a vapor chamber. As a, you know, when it comes to how good this vapor chamber is, I don't know. We'll see. Apple has been claiming significantly better sustained performance, 40% better sustained performance to the iPhone 16 Pro. Okay, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with those numbers, but we'll see. I'm not a gamer myself, at least on mobile. I don't game on my phone ever. So I cannot comment on that. What I can comment on is that when I'm outdoors in a, you know, super bright sunny day, the iPhone does tend to dim quite heavily. So yeah, I'm hoping that if anything, this new thermal system results in more sustained outdoor brightness. We've already talked about the battery life. Okay. And we haven't really talked about the display reflectivity or anything display related. So let me see if they've got anything on the website about the display. Obviously, I'm assuming it's also brighter, like the base model. But I don't seem to have anything related to it, which is weird. Because I would say if the display is 3000 nits, and if that brightness can be sustained for longer than 4 minutes, which was the average on the Pro models before, then I would say that's a bigger upgrade than that camera upgrade. By far. And Apple seems to be hiding that for whatever reason. Or not, you know, not really talking about it. But we'll look at the tech specs page, and we'll look at the comparisons in a second. It looks like we've also got the new TechWoven case, which of course that was leaked. It's pretty much just like in the leaks. We've got the new cross body strap, if you guys want to wear that. And we've also got the new silicone case. Still no leather case, which I think that's a miss. Like, I do understand that it's more environmentally friendly not to use leather. So I'm all for that. But, you know, you can use faux leather, which actually looks really good. And it's very similar to leather. So I would have loved for Apple to have done that. Okay, so now I think we can go to the compare page. Let's compare the iPhone 17 Pro Max to the iPhone 16 Pro Max. And let's take a look. Just ignore the 17 for now. Let's take a look at some of the differences here. Okay, specifically that display brightness. That's what I want to see. So we now get ceramic shield on the back, whereas before we didn't. Although, keep in mind that the back is now just that glass patch. So the back is actually made out of aluminium, aside from that patch. Okay. Then we got the new A19 Pro chip. We got 4 more hours of video playback, which is pretty impressive. We've got the new front camera. Okay, and then we've got the upgraded camera system that gives you 8x lossless zoom compared to 5x like before. But keep in mind, the lens itself is actually downgraded. It's a 4x optical zoom lens instead of the previous 5x, so that's a downgrade. The resolution of the sensor is higher, which is how Apple can claim that, oh, you now have more zoom because it crops in the sensor. Okay, so USB-C, same speeds as before. MagSafe is also the same speeds as before, by the way, so 25 watts. We do get a 2 terabyte storage option. That's new. And wait, where's the brightness? Oh, there you go. Yeah, so it is 3000 nits as expected compared to 2000 like on the 16 Pro Max. Now, it doesn't really say anything about the anti-reflective coating here, does it? No, it doesn't really say anything. Okay. But it does have it. They've talked about that at the event. Okay, it's a bit heavier, which is interesting. And it is significantly thicker, which is basically what we found through our dummy units. Yeah, so yeah, 48 megapixel fusion. All in all, I gotta say, it's a bigger upgrade than the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Don't get me wrong, like the 16 Pro Max was a smaller upgrade compared to the 15 Pro Max. Sure, the display was bigger, but that was mostly it, and the camera control, and you know, the ultra wide was higher res. But to me, this is a bigger upgrade than the 16 Pro Max was. That being said, I don't think that it's enough of an upgrade. Bluetooth 6. Yeah, and that's about it. So stay tuned for our camera comparison because we'll compare the 17 Pro Max against the 16 Pro Max, the Pixel 10 Pro XL, also the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, S26 Ultra when it launches in January or February. So we'll have that as well. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for our battery drain test. We'll also do that. So make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss that when it goes live. But that's the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Now, I want to compare the iPhone 17 Pro with the iPhone 16 Pro. Okay, and then see what sort of changes we notice here. Realistically, it should be the same. Battery life-wise, we're not getting as much of a jump as from the Pro Max to the Pro Max model. So we're getting 4 extra hours. The good news is that we do actually get the exact same telephoto on the Pro model. So if you don't want, you know, that bigger size of the Pro Max, you can just get the smaller Pro. So I do really like that because some of the rumors were saying that maybe just the Pro Max will get that new telephoto, but no, actually the smaller Pro gets it as well. So really the only difference between the Pro and the Pro Max, which I'll just put on the screen right here, is the battery and of course the display size. And my guess is that the Pro Max will also have better thermals because, of course, you know, it's a bigger phone. Bigger phone means more surface area, more surface area also means that the vapor cooling chamber is also going to be bigger. So that's my guess. We also get double the storage compared to the 16 Pro, so that's great. And the price is also the same, if I'm not mistaken. Or hold on, is it more expensive? $10.99 in the UK. I think it's more expensive in the UK by £100. So I think they have increased the price. And of course, you get a brighter display. It's interesting that the HDR brightness is actually the same. It's just the outdoor brightness that has been increased, which I don't mind. I think that's fine. Okay. So, and of course, the thickness has also been increased. I just want to take a look at the weight. So the weight, yeah, the 17 Pro is once again heavier. It's interesting because aluminum is lighter than titanium. So the reason why it's heavier is probably that vapor chamber. Because other than that, I guess it's the new telephoto camera module, which has a bigger sensor, but I don't think that's going to make that much of a difference weight-wise. So I think it is that vapor chamber. And the extra battery size, because the battery is bigger, and the body is also thicker. So it's, it's a combination of things. But I would have expected the phone to be lighter because of the switch to aluminum. Yeah, so just to conclude on the Pro models, I will be using a Pro Max as my daily driver, so as my daily iPhone driver. So, and as my main phone realistically, because I do still use an Apple Watch and a MacBook, so that's going to be my primary phone. But still am disappointed. I would have loved to see just a bigger telephoto upgrade and some sort of main camera upgrade, because we have had the same back camera since the iPhone 14 Pro, which is absolutely ridiculous. 4th year in a row. And it's the same exact main camera. Yes, they're calling it Fusion, but it is the same thing. You could still do 2x sensor crop on the 14 Pro Max. So it's just a marketing thing. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the iPhone Air, because I think this is probably the most interesting one. I don't think it's gonna sell well. I think most people, just like me and just like most of you, will just go for the Pro Max. In fact, even, I literally asked in the poll if you guys would go for the Air or the Pro Max. Sorry, if you wanted me to review the Pro Max or the Air first, and most of you have voted for the Pro Max. So it's clear that that's where the interest mostly is. So iPhone 17 Air, which is the final thing to talk about, it costs £999. It costs £1,000, which is the same price as the iPhone Pro used to be. So the iPhone 16 Pro used to start from $999. Yeah, and I think this is worse than the 16 Pro. It's worse because, sure, it's thinner, sure, it's titanium, but it's only got one camera module, and it's got a smaller battery. So yeah, we'll again take a look at a compare page, compare the 17 Air against Pro models of previous years and see how it stacks. But let's start with the bright side. It's really thin. It's 5.6 millimeters, so it's a bit thicker than what the leaks were saying, and our dummy unit, which was 5.5, by the way. So it's 5.6, which I still think is really thin. The Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge, that's 5.9, so this is thinner than that. It comes in 4 colors, including black, which the Pro models do not come in, which does make me want to get this one because it looks gorgeous, especially with the polished titanium frame. That looks incredible. It will get scratched, and smushed, but it does look incredible. So I think design-wise, the 17 Air is by far the best. But then you've got that single camera module on the back. So there's that. The display is 3000 nits, so it's the same display as the Pro models, which is great. It's got that anti-reflective coating. It's got a camera control button, the action button. It's got everything. Obviously, the buttons are thinner. So it's very, very tempting to go with the black version of this. Extremely tempting. But it's only got one camera module. Apple's framing it as, oh, you've got like 4 cameras or something crazy like that. But you don't. It's one camera with digital zoom capabilities. That's what it is. And sensor crop at 2x. So the 2x telephoto is, you won't lose sharpness for that. But yeah, I'm not sure. I would be curious to see if you guys would go for the Air. Because, like, you could just pay 100 more and get the 17 Pro. So, yeah, it does have a smaller screen. Sure, it's 6.3 compared to 6.5. But it does have a better battery. It does have much better camera systems. In fact, let me just go to a compare page because there's a lot of things that I want to see here. So, compare iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Air. And then 17 Pro Max as well. Okay. So let's take a look at a 3. So again, there's only £100 in UK difference between the 17 Air and the 17 Pro, and then 100 more for the Pro Max. So it's pretty easy to remember. Now, the 17 Air, despite being the cheapest, has the second largest display size. So it's bigger than the Pro. And it's the exact same display in terms of brightness, in terms of refresh rate, everything is the same. You also get always on, so that's great. Now, the chip is the same, but it has one less GPU core. And it also doesn't have that vapor chamber that the Pro models do. So you're not going to get that sustained performance. Which, personally, I don't care about because I'm not a gamer. I don't game on my phone. So I think it's fine. Okay. Then the battery life, which is actually looking pretty good, I should say. So there's a 4-hour difference between the 17 Air and the 17 Pro, and then literally a 10-hour difference between the 17 Air and the 17 Pro Max. So if I compare the 17 Air to the 16 Pro, it looks like we get the same battery life, at least based on this, 27 hours, which if this is true, then this would be really impressive. And if we compare it against the 15 Pro, this is actually better. So if Apple managed to pull this off, give us an iPhone 16 Pro battery life in an iPhone Air body, then that'll be really good. So, you know, I'll be testing this. We'll do a battery drain test, all of that. So, yeah, I'll let you guys know. Since we only have literally one single camera, we do not have, well, ultra-wide capabilities, and the zoom is limited to 2x lossless, which is the sensor crop. So that needs to be 12 megapixels. We also do not have macro, and we also cannot do 4K 120 for some strange reason, even though we do have the chip capable of doing that. So it does say Dolby Vision 4K 120, so maybe we can still do 4K 120 that's not Dolby Vision, maybe? We'll have to see. Oh, USB-C speeds are USB 2 on the Air. Well, that's a bummer. Wow, look at this. For 20 times the transfer speed. So if you do shoot content, you need to get a Pro iPhone. So I'll just make a note of this. USB 2 speeds. Okay. Okay. So then we've got the MagSafe charging speeds, which are a bit lower on the Air. So even though we've got Qi 2, technically, we only get 20 watts compared to 25. So that's something else to keep in mind. Before I go on, I just want to give a shout out to Banquero Gamer. Thank you for your donation. So you're saying, greetings from Chile. Hello. iPhone 4 to iPhone 16 Pro user here. Wow, that's a huge upgrade. He's giving us a little advice. Never purchase a first version of an iPhone. Never. Just wait for iPhone Air version 2. I do agree. I do 100% agree, because with every product, the first version is sort of like a tester to see how this product does. And then you can kind of see that product evolve from that first version. And every single product has done that. Like the first MacBook Air was really bad. The first iPhone was really bad. The first Apple Watch, you could also say, was really bad. Like performance-wise, that thing lagged like crazy. So, yeah. I would agree. Do not buy the first version. Buy the second or even third. And I would say the same for the iPhone Air. I would say maybe next year they give us dual cameras. Maybe. I'm not saying that for sure, but maybe. That'll be nice. We do get the same capacity on the iPhone Air. And again, the same display. which is bigger. So let's take a look at some dimensions. 5.64 millimeters thin for the iPhone Air. And weight-wise, it's 165 grams. That's actually lighter than an iPhone 16 Pro. And it is also lighter than an iPhone 16, although not by much, just by 5 grams. And it's probably because Apple uses titanium, which is heavier than aluminum. So if we compare this to an iPhone 13, it's lighter. What about iPhone 13 mini? Okay, so it's heavier than an iPhone 13 mini. The leaks were saying that it would be the same weight, but that's not the case. And then, of course, chip-wise, like I said, it's got one less GPU core compared to the iPhone 17 Pro and the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Let me switch this back to the Pro Max. Yeah, and of course, we got no macro. Oh, this is weird. We don't have Pro RAW. Well, actually, sorry. Yes, that's true because it's not a Pro phone. Only the Pro iPhones have Pro RAW. But we do have a Pro chip. Yeah. We also don't have cinematic mode, which, okay, makes sense. We only have one lens, so. Okay, yeah, we are lacking a lot of features. Video features compared to the Pro iPhones. So, and we also lack studio quality mics. But other than that, we do have a lot of the other features. And the battery life is, at least based on Apple's numbers, is better than I thought. So maybe, the iPhone Air is sort of like the trial, you could say, for the iPhone Fold, something that Owen from my team just mentioned. The iPhone Fold is, of course, launching next year. So, you know, according to the rumors, the iPhone Fold would be around 5 millimeters thin when unfolded, which again would be similar to the iPhone Air. So, yeah. As my final conclusion for the iPhone Air, I think it's actually better than we thought. I think it looks better. The fact that the frame is polished, I think it looks gorgeous. I also like the fact that the battery life, at least the one that Apple quoted, is way better than we thought. So that's promising. And I also like that it's got always on. It's got actual ProMotion. It's got a brighter screen. Yeah, I think that's really, really impressive. So all in all, I think the iPhone 17 Air, oh, and it comes in black. I think it's a very interesting phone. But for me, the main reason why I don't think I'm gonna use this as my main phone or my main iPhone is that single camera module. I think that Apple should have given it at least 2, because the S25 Edge has 2 camera modules. The main camera is the same as the S25 Ultra. Okay. Speaking of that, let me answer the question that you're probably thinking, or at least I'm thinking, which is, what is the camera on the iPhone 17 Air? So the compare page won't show you that, but if you go on, let's scroll down. Scroll down? Why can I not scroll down? Okay. So if I scroll down, we should see a tech spec page up here. We're not seeing that. Okay, let's go to Explorer. There you go, tech specs. So now if you go here, we can take a look at a camera module. Oh, and guess what? The aperture is it's f1.6. So if it's f1.6, it means that it's not the same camera as the Pro model, because the Pro models, they use an f1.78 aperture. Guess which phone uses an f1.6 aperture? You guessed it, that is the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 17. So this looks to be the same sensor as the iPhone 16 and 17, which is a smaller sensor than the iPhone 17. Something to keep in mind. So even though Apple's claiming that you get Pro features, the only Pro feature is the chip. And I guess the frame, you could say, but then the Pro models don't have that frame anymore. So it is pretty much just the chip, I would say. That is a Pro feature, even though it's got one less GPU core. It's got the same number of GPU cores as the A19. Now the question is, could this actually be the same camera as the iPhone 16e? which is an even smaller sensor. Okay, so let's take a look at that. So if let me just open up a new tab. Let's go to the iPhone 16e. Okay, let me go to tech specs. Let's go to the camera. And what do we see here? It's a 1.6 aperture, 48 megapixel fusion camera. We compare the two, these look to be the same, which is very interesting. Let's open up another new tab. Let's go to the iPhone 17. And again, if you go to the compare page, you're not going to see all the details. So if you really want to do a proper comparison, you need to open up an individual tech specs page for every model. So let me do that. I think the website is glitching a tiny bit. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to get this open, but it's a bit slow. Give me 1 second. Explorer, there you go, tech specs. Okay, so let's take a look at the camera. Yeah, so Apple doesn't actually differentiate between the iPhone 16e and the iPhone 16/17 main sensor. But just so you know, the iPhone 16e has an even smaller sensor. So even though the megapixel count between the 16e and the 16 and Pro is the same, they're not actually the same sensor. Yeah, so the only way to tell, because Apple's not very clear here, is to wait and get the phone in the studio. Because it's impossible to tell otherwise. Or wait, no, hold on. Okay, I think I can tell. There's one thing that I realized and I remember from our 16e video. So if you look at the specs, on the iPhone 17, Apple says 100% focus pixels. Then if you go on the 16e, it says hybrid focus pixels. If you go on the iPhone Air, it says 100% focus pixels. So, okay, based on this, I think it is actually the same camera as the iPhone 17 and not the 16e. Okay, cool. So I'll be able to confirm once we get the phone in the studio, and then I'm gonna look at the actual sensor specs in Halide and apps like that. I do give you an actual readout of the sensor specs, and I'll be able to confirm. But I think it's the same sensor as the iPhone 17 and 16, which is what you would expect for that price. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it when it comes to 50% charge in 30 minutes. So the iPhone Air only has 20-watt charging, so lacks the fast charging from the looks of it. So yeah, I'm just making some notes for the future videos. Okay. I'm gonna do one last spec comparison, then I'm gonna answer your final question, and yeah, I guess that's about it really. So let me do an iPhone 17 Air, iPhone 17 Pro, and iPhone 17. Let me just do a quick comparison because I want to see some of the battery numbers and charging speeds. So because that's quite a bit different. So in terms of the CPU, the GPU cores, yes, we've got one extra GPU core on the Pro models of the iPhone. And the Air is essentially in the middle. So it's just like the iPads, where the iPad Air is the mid-tier phone. Sorry, the mid-tier device. Okay, so let me go to power and battery. There you go. So the iPhone 17 and 17 Pro, they both support 40 watts of fast charging, whereas the Air is capped at 20, which I'm assuming could be because of the battery type that they're using. Silicon carbon batteries usually support faster charging. Yeah, they haven't said anything about silicon carbon. I'm not sure if it's silicon carbon, although the numbers do look pretty good. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's happening there. We do have that MagSafe battery, which that can give you up to 35 hours, which is actually more than the iPhone 17 Pro. And if we compare that to the Pro Max, it's actually more than the 17 Pro Max as well, if you use that battery. 40 hours, yeah. But if you use that battery, then it's like using a Pro Max, because it's gonna be thicker and heavier, right? So, and you have to buy it separately as well, which, you know, would cost you extra. So you may as well just go for the Pro Max in that case, if you plan on using that daily. We also like the lighter scanner. And here we go. The SIM question answered. So the iPhone Air is dual eSIM, whereas the Pro models and the standard, it's dual SIM. So you get 2 eSIMs, and then you've got a physical SIM as well, at least in the UK. Which makes me wonder. Okay, let me do something else. So if I go to Apple, okay, so that's Apple US, this is Apple UK. Okay, perfect, this is what I need. So I wanna see if the battery numbers are any different between US and UK. So let's go to the iPhone 17 Pro, now the Air. And let's go to, come on, text page. You actually need to wait for this to animate. Oh, actually, I'll do it the, okay, I'll copy and paste that page, and then I'm just gonna remove the UK from the URL. There you go. So now we can see a comparison between the UK and the US. We know that US, US is eSIM. So let me just go to, where was it? eSIM, SIM card. There you go. So iPhone 17 Pro Max is dual eSIM, whereas in the UK, the iPhone 17 Pro Max is eSIM plus physical SIM. So we know that's the case. US is eSIM only. So my question was, will this have an impact on battery life? Because some of the latest leaks did say that. So let's take a look at the battery life numbers. So battery. Okay. 39 hours. Oh! Yes! It does. You see that? 37 hours in the UK, 39 hours in the US. And that's the 17 Pro Max. 17 Air is the same because it's eSIM everywhere. And then on the 17 standard is actually the same. Okay, so what about the 17 Pro in that case? Let's go to the 17 Pro. 33, 31. Okay. Okay, that's, I would say, a pretty big finding. So US iPhones have a longer battery life than the non-US iPhones. I wish you could pick, because I don't care about physical SIM on an iPhone. I care about longer battery life. So yeah, that's an interesting find. Cool. Well, with that being said, let's see. Do you guys have any questions? I'm gonna answer some of your questions that I've not answered yet. Anything that you've got that I haven't addressed, let me know. And in the meantime, I'm just gonna look on the UK page, and I wanna see if you can actually pick between the eSIM models. I don't think so, but that'll be cool. No trade-in. No. Okay, that's a bummer. Okay, so eJusty is asking, are you gonna buy the Air because of eSIM only? No, like you can use eSIM on all the previous models, like on all the other models as well. It's just that the iPhone 17 Air is eSIM only globally, so you don't even get the option to pick physical SIM. Okay, any other questions? Hitman is asking, should I upgrade from the iPhone 13 Pro Max to the 17 Pro? Is that 17 Pro standard or 17 Pro Max? I would say yes. From the 13 Pro, I think it's a good upgrade because you get, you know, all the new cameras. You get the always on functionality, much brighter screen, dynamic island. There's a lot of upgrades there. So I would say yes. Let's see, what else? How do you think the new iPhones stack up against the competition, Joseph is asking? Well, I think performance-wise, they may be the best. Brightness-wise, they may also be the best. In terms of the cameras, I think for everyday users, like if you compare the iPhones to the Google Pixels and the Samsungs, they're all kind of like, you could say they're very similar. They don't use the highest end camera components, but they try to give you a good result no matter what. Like they're consistent. I think it will surpass the S25 Ultra camera-wise. That's my guess. But I think it will be worse than the Pixel. That's my guess. We'll see. And compared to Xiaomi and all the other Chinese manufacturers, I think it will be significantly worse. Especially when it comes to the zoom and the low light performance. More questions. Yash is asking, can you confirm if all the iPhone models have the Apple C1X modem, especially the base 17? It looks like it, yeah. They all have the C1X modem. I believe so. I believe that's the case, and not just the Air. But I'll let you know, like, in the future videos that we do. I'm gonna look more into that. Should I upgrade from the iPhone 15 standard to the iPhone 17 standard? JF is asking. I would say yes. From the 15 standard, you do get a lot of upgrades. Like you get a new Ultra, you get a much brighter screen, you get the improved battery life. Yeah, I'm not saying for sure, but if you do have the option, depending on your carrier or upgrade plans, I think it would be a good upgrade. Now, Hero Creature is saying no 8K video, no anti-reflective coating, no small dynamic island. Okay, so he's talking about some of the things that got leaked. The anti-reflective coating is actually here, so we do have that. It is true, we don't have 8K video, the dynamic island is the same. The GPU improvements are actually there as well. So the thing that we don't get is the reverse wireless charging. That's a bit of a surprise, especially considering the design. And again, the iPhone 17 Air does have that battery. So if we go to maybe iPhone accessories or here, I'm pretty sure that can charge reverse wireless charge just like it could before in the past. So, yeah, there you go. This is the battery. Yeah. Let's see, any other questions? Harvish is asking, is the iPhone 17 Air camera good enough for the price? Absolutely not. No, it's £1,000, $1,000. It's an expensive phone. That's a flagship price. And the camera is just a single camera. It's not even a flagship module. It doesn't even use the same module as the Pro models. And even the Pro models have an outdated sensor. So yeah, it's fine. Like, don't get me wrong. For most people in most situations, I think it's gonna be fine. But the fact that you don't have any ultra-wide capabilities or any, you know, proper zoom capabilities for that price, I think that's a miss. Yeah. Daniel Huzoranu is asking, he's asking this in Romanian, so I'm just gonna translate. Have they said anything about a RAM? Yes, they've said they've got more memory. The Pro models have more memory. They haven't stated the numbers because Apple never does that, but I think they do have 12 gigabytes of RAM. So pretty sure that's the case. Leo Van Ness is asking, should I upgrade from the iPhone 13 Pro to the 16 Pro? So not a 17 Pro, but a 16 Pro specifically. I would say no, probably upgrade to the 17 Pro, or, you know, if you can find a good deal for the 16 Pro, like refurbished, then maybe. Yeah, the 16 Pro was really good battery life wise. Okay. Oh, Yash is saying that the C1X is not mentioned in the text page of the base iPhone 17, nor the 17 Pro. So is it the Air only in that case? Right, let me quickly pull this up. And then C1X, C1, C. Okay, where is, let me see. Okay, I think I need to open up every single page. Okay, let's do that. Quickly see if that is the case. Because if that is the case, it would make things a bit weird. The fact that Apple designed the new chip, right? Like we've got the C1, we've got the C1X, and they're only using the C1 in the 16E, and they're only using the C1X in the Air. But maybe that is the case. So yeah, there you go. It says it here, Apple C1X, and then Apple N1. And then if we go to the Pro models, so let me just go to the Pro page, Explore, come on. Give me 1 second. Sorry, the website, I'm not sure if the website is glitchy or my MacBook is glitchy, but I should have that working soon. Explore, okay, tech specs. Okay, so again, if you really want to compare all the iPhones, you should just compare the tech specs page individually and not do the compare page, because the compare page would not show you all the info. Okay. Yes, so I believe that is the case, actually. That is true. So we do not have the C1X. We do have the N1, but not the C1X. So okay. Right. Any final questions, guys? Let's see. Radomir is saying, I have an iPhone 16e and I'm looking to upgrade to the Air, but in the 2nd gen or 3rd gen, because I like small and simple. I mean, we don't really know what the 2nd gen Air would have, so, or the 3rd gen. So yeah, I would say it is a very similar phone in the sense that it's got one camera module, right? So camera-wise, you will get the same experience, better experience because you have a better sensor. Yeah, I mean, I would say even right now, it would be a good upgrade for that display and the always on and the fact that it's thinner. But it won't be a huge upgrade for the camera. So yeah, maybe you're right, maybe wait for the 2nd or 3rd gen. Okay. So let's see what else. Why is there no black color on the iPhone on the Pro models? I've got no idea. I don't know. I'm not really sure why that is. I think it's a shame. I personally think the reason why maybe they don't have a black color is because that's always the most popular color. And they want more people to upgrade to the iPhone 17 Pro. So I think maybe they're planning to like push the black color in March when the iPhone 17e launches. Maybe that's their approach. And then that would be their way of, you know, convincing people who were not sold on the 17 Pro yet to buy it then. Maybe. I don't know. That's just the guess. Or maybe they've had some manufacturing issues with the black color. I don't know. Let me know if you guys have any theories. Okay, a few final questions, and then we shall call it a day, because I need to record an actual video that's going to go live tomorrow. So thank you for all the questions, guys. Like, there's a lot of questions from you, so I appreciate that. Brandon is asking, can the iPhone Air battery be used for other models? That's a really good question. I would say yes and no. Yes, because it's MagSafe. So technically you could use it, but no, because I think the camera module, like if I bring up, there you go. So I've got the iPhone Air and the iPhone, let me switch the camera. So I've got the iPhone Air and the iPhone 17 Pro models right here, case models. And if you can see, the iPhone 17 Air has a shorter camera island compared to the Pro model. So the Pro model has a thicker and longer camera island. So I think because of that, you would not be able to connect the MagSafe battery. Like the camera module would get in the way. That's just my guess. Plus, the battery bank is actually not called MagSafe battery. It's called iPhone Air MagSafe battery. So I think it only works on the Air because of that camera module design. But, you know, we'll wait. Oh, thank you, Jermaine, for the donation. You should not have done that. Well, yeah, I should give a shout out, like I said before, to Jermaine. He's great. And if you've seen any of our Leaks and Rumors videos, he's been very helpful with the models, the 3D models for our concepts that we use. So, and he's also got a great YouTube channel for camera comparisons. So big shout out to Jermaine. Go check him out. Okay, I'll answer 3 more questions, and then I'm gonna end the stream. iPhone 17 Pro Max or S26 Ultra from DJ Killa 99. Well, the S26 Ultra is not out yet, but we do have some leaks on it. And we know that the camera, the main camera sensor is getting an upgrade. It's gonna be a bigger sensor, still 200 megapixels. I think the screen is also getting brighter. It's really hard to say because, like I said, not all the details have been revealed. But I would say, based on what we know so far, maybe the S26 Ultra will be the better package, camera-wise. Maybe even battery life-wise, if they do switch to silicon carbon, which is one of the rumors. But again, we'll have to wait and see. So my guess, I'm kind of leaning a tiny bit more towards the S26 Ultra, based on what we know so far. Okay, 2 more questions. So, okay, Chaos Rankings is asking, 17 Pro or 17 Pro Max, upgrading from an 11 Pro Max. Should I even upgrade or wait? Ooh, okay, well, if you're upgrading from an 11 Pro Max, that would be a huge upgrade, no matter which one you get. And I guess what you should consider is that from the iPhone 15 Pro, if I'm not mistaken, Max. Yeah, from the iPhone 15 Pro Max, Apple did... Yeah, the 15 Pro Max was shorter and narrower than the 14 Pro Max. But then the 12 Pro Max was bigger than the 11 Pro Max. Sorry, what I'm trying to say is that the 17 Pro Max will be significantly bigger than your 11 Pro Max was. So go to the store, check out the 17 Pro Max, see how it feels in the hand, and then take it from there. Because remember, the 11 Pro Max had a 6.5-inch display. Now the 17 Pro Max has a 6.9. Yeah, and with the 12 Pro Max, we got a 6.7-inch display. So go to the store, see how the 17 Pro Max feels like. If it feels fine, I would go for that because, you know, you're getting bigger battery, bigger screen. But if you want a more compact phone, then I would go for the 17 Pro. So just go to the store, see which one feels better. Okay, one final question. Right, let's see. Let's see, I'm getting so many questions, so thank you guys. I'm just trying to select which one you guys may find the most helpful. Okay, a few iPad questions. Okay, let's answer one final upgrade question. So, from Deuce King, you've got a final question. I have the iPhone 15 Pro. Should I upgrade to the iPhone 17 Pro Max or the iPhone Air? Okay, that's a really good question. So let me answer this one properly. Let me go to the compare page and let me show you all the differences, because I feel like most people upgrading from, most people upgrading to an iPhone 17 are probably coming from the iPhone 15 or earlier, right? So I'm trying to find your question again. It's 15 Pro. So you're curious about the 17 Air or the 17 Pro Max. So, I mean, you get some pretty big upgrades in terms of the display size, even if you go with the Air. Obviously, the Air is cheaper. But personally, I would say, since you're used to having 3 camera modules, I think downgrading to 1 camera module would be a very significant upgrade for you personally. But that, of course, also depends on how much you use the camera. You are getting a much better battery life, even if you use the Air, even if you get the Air. And then if you get 17 Pro Max, that battery life is even more improved. So personally, I would go for the Pro Max. Also, you do get USB 2.0, so you're downgrading the USB if you tend to transfer files a lot. Yeah, so my choice for you, I would say, would be the 17 Pro Max because of that fairly significant camera downgrade that you would get. But yeah, having said that, guys, one last thing that I want to mention is also a huge shout out to ESR, our sponsor of this live stream, which has been in my background for the entirety of the stream. So as a quick recap, if you're looking for an iPhone case or any iPhone 17 accessory, ESR has you covered. This right here is the ESR Cyber Tough case. It protects your iPhone like literally everywhere. Even the port is protected, even the speakers. And you've also got a kickstand. Then we also have ESR Screen Protector, which offers ceramic shield. Sorry, my bad. Gorilla Glass on the screen protector itself with 10 times more resistance than other screen protectors. And we also have my favorite, which is the, sorry, I'm trying to prop these up, which is the ESR 3-in-1 charger that can charge your iPhone, your Apple Watch on the back, and your AirPods. It also supports the full 25-watt charging speed. And it's got a cooling fan as well, so it can keep your battery health protected. So check out ESR by using the links below. And once again, a huge shout out to ESR for sponsoring this live stream. And a huge shout out to you guys for sticking until the very end. Stay tuned to the channel because we'll have a lot of videos starting from tomorrow. So it's 9 p.m. here. I need to record the next video, which will be edited and live tomorrow, and then the day after, and then the day after. So we'll cover everything. So stay tuned for that. I'm Daniel, ZONEofTECH. You can also check out our app wallpapers because we have some really cool designs that you'll be able to use for free on the new iPhone 17s. And yeah, once again, thank you guys for sticking around until the end. And I'll see you in the next one. ZONEofTECH signing out. Cheers.